A shame. Hello and welcome to another Facebook Live. How are you today? Today with me is Lynne. So let me introduce Lynne first of all. Hello, Lynne. How are you?
Hi, Craig. I'm fine. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Okay.
Lynne, tell everyone where you're from.
All right.
What your website is.
Okay, I'm Lynne. My name's Lynne Copperly, and Put It Like This is my business. Putitlikethis.com is the website that you can see there. And I'm an online teacher of English, and I specialize in doing tailor-made courses for people. So if you're interested in learning English and you want to find out a little bit more about the kind of classes that I can give and the ways I can help you, then have a look at my website, putitlikethis.com.
Putitlikethis.com. Fantastic. And my name's Craig. I'm from the website mansioningles.com, which has a lot of material and free courses and listenings and lots of things that you can use to improve your English and take it up to the next level. And we also have a podcast that is published every week. It's called Aprender Inglés con Reza y Craig, and you can find it at inglespodcast.com or wherever you listen to your podcasts. What are we speaking about this week, Lynne?
Well, today we're talking about music. Lynne and Craig Unplugged. Now, there's a nice word, unplugged. Do you guys know what that means? I can see that we're getting some viewers in already, or some listeners and viewers. What do we call the internet audience, Craig? Are they listeners or viewers?
Internauters, I don't know.
Internauters.
Yeah.
Our
call them
internet
friends.
Audience. Friends, yeah. Well, anyway, maybe we should say hello to them first. So Hima's here again. Hi, Hima. You're first this time. Christina is here too. Nice to see you, Christina. Francisco is saying good morning to us. So you must be in a different time zone, I suppose, maybe. Katia's from Costa Rica. And Vicente doesn't say where he's from either. And Chris, yeah.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us. And Kayla's just joined us. Esther is in the house, and Montse as well from La Coruña. Lovely to see everybody. And also hello if you're watching the replay on Facebook. So did we explain Unplugged? I wonder if...
No, we didn't.
Do you know what a plug is, I wonder? What's a plug?
A plug. Well, a plug. Are you asking me or?
I was asking everyone out there. I know you know what it means, Lynne. A plug.
Oh, okay. I wonder why that is. Yeah. So, well, come on then, everybody. What is unplugged? Do you know that? Well, while they're thinking about that, I'll tell them what a plug is. A plug is the thing on the end of an electrical cable. And so if you have a computer or anything electrical, it has this little thing on the end of the cable, and you have to plug it into the socket on the wall. The thing that's on the wall where you put the plug in is called a socket, although lots of British people are quite lazy about that, and they say, where's the plug? And they don't mean the thing on the end of the cable, they mean the thing on the wall. So you can say plug for both. But officially, the thing on the cable is a plug. That's what he's got in his hand there. And the socket is the box on the wall. Right. But we've got the answers for unplugged. Can you bring them up there? Yeah, it's an acoustic version with no arrangements. Oh, that's a beautiful definition.
Yeah, well done, Christine.
That's not the case for us though tonight, because Craig was trying to do lots of arrangements, which sort of half worked and half didn't. He wanted to put some music on the show, but we're not sure we can do that or not.
Yeah, if you did watch last week with Monica, it was a bit of a mess. I've got this mixer that I was trying to use last week and trying to use today so that we could have some music at the beginning of the show. But it didn't work, and I need to solve a couple of technical issues. So hopefully next week that will be fixed. But I did try. So today we are really unplugged. Acoustic, no music, no mixer, no sounds, just the two of us. So,
but we do have electricity. We do have electricity, and one
Yeah.
has to say that this doesn't work unless we are plugged in. But we use the word unplugged because it's often used in music. So there's a lot of concerts now where you see the names of famous artists, like, for example, Bruce Springsteen, for example, and some of his concerts are sort of advertised as being unplugged, and that means that he's literally with usually it's a much smaller audience, and there's no special effects, and he might just be playing on an acoustic guitar, for example, rather than an electrical guitar.
Exactly. And we've got quite a bit of vocabulary connected to music to show you in a second. But before we do that, just a question for you, Lynne. Is music important in your life?
Really important. Yes, it's very important. The last show we did was about being attitudes to life, optimistic, pessimistic, opportunistic. And honestly, the thing that keeps me going all the time is music. Music makes me so happy.
So are you listening to music constantly throughout the day? Is there always music on in the background?
No, because I can't really concentrate very well when I have music on. So especially when I'm doing things like with the computer or doing textual work, obviously when I'm working with students, I don't have music on in the background. But if I'm doing other things in my life, like driving, cleaning, cooking, or just thinking, then I like music.
And what kind of music are you into?
All sorts of music, anything. Things. I also like singing to myself. I'm not a very good singer, really, but I love singing. I think it makes me feel so happy when I sing. So I like singing, but not to an audience. What about you, Craig? Is it important in your life?
It is important. It used to be more important, and where in the situations where you listen to music when you're doing other things, I now tend to listen to podcasts. So I listen to the spoken word a lot. So there isn't really much time for me to listen to music because, like you, if I'm working, music distracts me. I like to have silence to concentrate. So yeah, I miss listening to music. I want to listen to more. But I'm finding it hard to fit it in my daily routine. Fit it in, yeah. But let's look at some vocabulary, because you mentioned singing. When people sing together, particularly in a church or to worship, not necessarily to worship. You don't need to worship to be in a choir, but choir, if you speak Spanish, is coro. And be careful of the pronunciation because you've got a CH there, but the sound is K. It's a hard K sound. So choir. And there's also an intrusive W, a W sound. So choir is the pronunciation. People who sing in a choir.
It sounds like the word queen, where you would write it with a Q and a U. So if you can try to remember that, because most people most learners of English mispronounce the word choir, because it's very unusual that we have the CH being pronounced like a QU. So it's choir. Did you ever sing in a choir, Craig, when you were younger?
When I was at school, our music teacher divided the class into sopranos and altos. Is it baritone? Is another
very
singing
professional? Baritone.
And then one group he called the groaners, and to groan is and I was in the groaners group. I can't sing. I can't sing. I can't sing in tune. That's our second word. Tune in Spanish is melodía. And if you sing in tune, then you sing musically, and it's nice to listen to. But I cannot sing in tune. I have no musical talent.
Out of tune. You are always out of tune.
Very.
Which is like a sort of discord, isn't it? It's not. You're not on the right. Or not on the right
notes.
level.
Oh, not at all.
It's very embarrassing when you sing out of tune. When I was younger, I used to sing in choirs in school, but as I said, I'm not a bad singer, but I'm certainly not a good singer. And I was always mortally embarrassed when I caught myself. I could hear myself singing out of tune. So there's nothing worse than singing enthusiastically and then suddenly realizing that you are out of tune because everybody else hears you. So now I only sing to myself in the shower.
Yeah, me too. I have sung a couple of times at karaoke, but that was after quite a few beers. And I definitely would not like to see a recording of that. So that's best forgotten, I think. Next word is whistle, which is a verb and a noun. What does whistle mean?
Oh, I knew you'd ask me that because you can't really. Thank you. Can you just demonstrate what whistle is? I can't.
In Spanish, soplar.
So it's the noise you make with the air coming out of your mouth. I'm useless at whistling.
Rafa loves karaoke. Do you sing in English, Rafa, or Spanish? Or both? If you're humming, that's to hum. When it's a noun, it's more like a constant, annoying, low sound. We say low pitch. The pitch is the level of the kilohertz of the sound wave. So it's very, very low, very annoying. Sometimes when you have lots of electrical things connected, you can hear a and that's a hum. So it's a noun. But when it's a verb, to hum, with your voice, you're not singing, but you are making notes, musical notes with your voice. In Spanish, it's tararear, which is really difficult for me to say. I apologize. Tararear.
Yeah.
Tararear.
I like humming. I often end up humming. I'm more in tune when I hum than when I don't. Rafa is our brave student. He seems to love karaoke. He says he doesn't mind the language and he's very brave. He loves karaoke. I would be terrified to do karaoke, Rafa. So I'm proud of you. I consider myself brave, but I'm not that brave to do karaoke. No.
Harold says soplar in Colombia is another thing. I can imagine what that thing is. So maybe we better not go too far in that direction, Harold. But thank you for letting me know. I'll be very careful if I speak Spanish in Colombia with the verb soplar. Yeah.
Okay. And then the last word is rhythm. And rhythm is to do with the beat of the music. So there's a certain pace, there's a certain tempo to the timing in the music. And the rhythm is if you can keep in the timing. So rhythm is important as well when we dance as well. Some people can't dance in rhythm. So, you hear the beat of the music and then you see this person dancing and they're not really with it. Everybody else is jumping at the same time and they're out.
They're not clapping on the beat. Yeah.
They're not clapping on the beat. And that's rhythm. And for anybody who actually tries to learn an instrument, you don't realize how important rhythm is. And even if you learn to read music, even if you learn how to manipulate an instrument, if you don't have a feeling of rhythm, then you're lost. You can't play anything.
Exactly.
Or sing anything. Okay.
Moving on, we've got some more vocabulary. To tap is this. I'm tapping on the microphone with a pen. And if you tap your feet, which people often do in time with the music, then you are keeping time with the music and tapping your feet. To tap your feet. And
I'm very unlucky, this class, because when it comes to my vocabulary to explain, he always chooses the things I can't do.
You can't do this?
I can't whistle and I can't click my fingers either.
But you can sing. So
I can sing, but I can't click my fingers. There's no sound coming out there. Nothing. I don't know what you're supposed to do with your fingers, but I could never click my fingers. So can you click for me, please? That's it. Thank you.
Clicking your fingers, yeah.
And then we have the words in tune and out of tune, which Craig explained before. That's when you're singing in tune and out of tune. Okay.
Okay, great. moving on. So the lyrics are the words of a song. In Spanish, you'd say letras. So when you go to YouTube, by the way, every day on our Facebook page at facebook.com/mansioninglés, we put lyrics to a song every single day. So I've got a long Word document of YouTube videos with lyrics in English. So you can listen to the music and read the lyrics, and that will help your English. So the lyrics are the words of the song.
And here's the top tip for English learners. Top tip is singing along to English songs with the lyrics out loud. You can do it in the shower if you don't think you can sing very well like me. So you just do it in the shower for yourself. Maybe you have to plastify the lyrics first so you don't get them wet. But if you may have to laminate, not plastify, laminate is the word, or you put your screen on the other side of the shower, the shower glass. If you can sing along to the lyrics, that is a fantastic way of improving your pronunciation. And the reason is that in English, if you've been studying English for a while, maybe you know this or maybe you don't, but English pronunciation changes. It's not like Spanish pronunciation, which is fixed. So in Spanish, you have one word and one pronunciation for it. But in English, words can have multiple pronunciations, and we change the pronunciation depending on whether we want to stress the word, and in which case the word is strong, or if it's not important, we weaken the pronunciation and we make it weaker. So there's a lot of words that you know and you think you know how to pronounce, like, for example, prepositions like for or to or from. And people who have languages that are like Spanish, that are syllable timed languages, they constantly pronounce those words like from, to, for. And that's a real giveaway in English. We know immediately that you're not English when you start saying that, because those little prepositions usually don't carry meaning in our sentences, and we weaken the pronunciation and we say things like f, t, and from. And that's what most of you don't do when you're speaking English. So back to the music. The thing with music is you have a line of music and it has to be pronounced within the beat of the music. If you take too long, you can't get all of the words in the beat. So the wonderful thing about singing along to English music is that it forces you to start weakening your pronunciation. So instead of saying things like does not, you'll be saying doesn't. Instead of saying what are you, you'll be saying what are you? What are you? Which is the way that we actually also speak in English. Yeah. So singing along to the beat is fantastic because it makes your tongue work and it forces you to weaken things. Mm-hmm.
That's a very good point. And it's fun. It's fun to sing along to songs that you like. But I'll add one thing to what Lynne's just said. Pay attention to the singers that are easy to understand when they're singing, because some singers are quite difficult to understand. For example, someone who's quite easy is Frank Sinatra. He pronounces, and I know he's old, he's not very modern, and he's also dead, but his songs are very easy to follow. The Beatles also sing very clearly.
To follow.
However, singers like Elton John, for example, or Mick Jagger, the Rolling Stones, sometimes it's really difficult to understand their lyrics unless you're reading them. So bear that in mind when you're practicing with music.
Okay.
Score, SCORE is our next word. Now, you might recognize that from sports. You score a goal in football, for example, but a music score, if you speak Spanish, I've got it up here somewhere, is partitura or música. So the composer wrote the score for the film. So the score, the musical notes when you write music and you create a piece of music, that is called a score.
It's like if you're writing, you write a book. But for music, you write a score.
Yeah.
That's the way it is. And we've got a couple of questions. I just want to bring the questions in before we finish that, Craig, because in case they roll up and we don't see them. Hum and haw is also an interesting expression with hum. That's when you are indecisive.
Yeah,
so
you're
if
humming
you can't
and
make
hawing.
your mind up, you're humming and hawing. It's the same kind of sound like that.
Yeah.
And then whistle, Silva. That's right.
Be careful of the spelling, Carlos, of whistle. It's WHISTLE. There's a silent T in whistle.
Mm-hmm. Eduardo's got a question about when you're in a call. Can you say you're out of tune, meaning you're breaking up? So I think what you mean there is if you're on a telephone call or on the mobile and the voice is breaking up, you can't say you're out of tune. No. You just say you're breaking up.
Yeah.
You're breaking up means the voice is not connected.
But if you're interested in that kind of language, Eduardo, recently we did a podcast. I'll put the link in the chat soon, about language you use when you're on a Skype or Zoom call and you're trying to communicate. And one of the things we mentioned in that podcast was you're breaking up. I can't hear you. Can you repeat? So I'll put that link in there for Eduardo in a minute.
Then Christine has a really interesting question, which is, can we explain the difference between choir and chorus? Yes, we can. Choir is a group of singers. Traditionally, they are maybe, I think in like sort of Mozart times, they used to have very sort of elaborate choirs who would sing pieces of classical music. And then, of course, there's lots of choirs in churches, for example, singing the music. And the function of the choir is to try to lead the singing in a sense, of other people. Now, a chorus has two meanings as far as I can think of straight away. The first meaning of a chorus is in the lyrics of a song. Sometimes there is there are verses. So the lyrics come in little sections, like maybe 4 or 5 lines or 6 lines, and they are verses. And occasionally, not occasionally, often you have a chorus because you have the same verse which is repeated at different moments of the song. And the thing that is repeated, the verse that is repeated, is called the chorus. And then there is another meaning of chorus, and it comes from Broadway. And the chorus in the old-fashioned musicals, I think they were like dancing musicals, the chorus girls were the group of women who would sing, but they would also dance. So it's like a dancing choir is a chorus.
Chorus line, chorus girls.
Line. Yeah, have I forgotten anything, Craig, there?
No, that's fantastic. That's perfectly clear. Yeah, thanks for the question, Christine. Any other comments?
No.
Okay, so
soundtrack.
To a film, for example, the music that accompanies or goes with the pictures on the screen and the dialogue. So if you watch Star Wars, for example, then you have a musical score that becomes the soundtrack to the film. So all of the sounds and the music you hear in the film, we call the soundtrack, which is banda sonora in Spanish, I believe.
Did you ever have, when you were younger, Craig? I used to listen to a lot of music when I was younger, and especially when I was sort of like, I don't know, beginning of 20, 22, 23, I used to listen to lots of music, and I used to declare music being the soundtrack of my life, you know. I would pretend my life was a movie, and I had certain singers and certain bands that I associated as being the soundtrack to my movie of my life.
I'd be interested.
Heard that phrase before when you say what soundtrack is the soundtrack to your life?
But I'd be interested in seeing the list of songs that you chose to be
no, I think that would be telling too much then.
That would
that was a
reveal
long
a lot.
time ago. I've forgotten about that.
So yeah, Millicent, hello Millicent, good to see you here. She says banda sonora, yeah, that's soundtrack. And the sound effects, of course, are the efectos de sonido, the sound effects in a film. So if someone's knocking on the door, or if there's a scream, that's part of the sound that's inside the film, the sound effects.
And sorry, there's a lovely, because you're bringing in so many, thank you to everybody giving these comments, but you're bringing in some lovely comments. There's a one from Eduardo saying, a lovely idiom, you're preaching to the choir.
Nice one, yeah. Preaching
Very
to the
nice,
choir.
Eduardo. And that means that's an idiom that we use quite a lot when somebody is telling you something that you already know, but they're trying to persuade you of something, and you say, don't persuade me anymore. You're preaching to the choir, which means that you are trying to preach like a vicar or a priest preaches to the congregation. But of course, the choir is practically like they're very religious people, like the priest. Yeah. So the priest doesn't preach to the choir. The priest preaches to the congregation. So you turn it when somebody's trying to tell you something you already know, and trying to persuade you, you turn around and you say, you're preaching to the choir, save it.
But it's a nice way of saying you don't need to tell me that. It's a nice way of saying, yeah, I know that. I'm 100% in agreement with you. And this is because Eduardo was asking about breaking up on a Skype or Zoom call. And then I mentioned the episode, and obviously Eduardo is a listener of the podcast. And yeah, I know. I listened to that. You're preaching to the choir. I know exactly what you mean.
Well used, Eduardo. You used it perfectly, like a true native speaker. Okay,
this is a common mistake, because in Spanish you say tocar. So don't translate that to touch, because touch, we say play an instrument. That's the collocation. Play the piano, play a guitar. Do you play any musical instruments? So be careful of that. Of that direct translation that's not correct.
And do you play any musical instruments, Craig?
No. I always wanted to play the drums. I've loved the drums since I was very, very young. I went to a concert with my family. I think I was 8 or 9, and we sat quite close to the orchestra. It was a show in London, and I remember just watching the drummer, baterista, the drummer, all the way through the show. The only thing I noticed was the drummer. And ever since then, I've been fascinated with the drums. And I tried for a couple of months to learn the basics of drumming. And I did not have the dedication, we could say the staying power, the determination to continue practicing. And I stopped. But I do love the drums. Yeah.
Well, I have to mention now, because I have to mention 3 of my lovely students at the moment. I have 3 students who, by chance, I never knew anything about drumming. And then this last year, I have got 3 students, and they're all drummers. And one of them is Alex. Hi, Alex, if you're listening. Alex is a young guy, and he's been playing the drums and percussion for a long time. So he has been teaching me in our English lessons. We've been learning everything about how to do all of the vocabulary in English about the drums. Wow. And I've been helping him about the vocabulary, and he's been teaching me about how complicated it is to play the drums. So that's been wonderful. And then, funnily enough, this serendipity moment, where once you start with drums, then all the students come to you and they say to you, oh, I play the drums. And then I also have now another student, Victoria. Hi, Victoria. She's a professional drummer. So she knows a lot about the drums. And then I have another student, Sai, and Sai also plays the drums. So there you go. I'm becoming a drumming specialist now, because I'm learning so much. But I have played the drums once. When I lived in Africa, I bought a drum and I had some lessons. And it was fun. It was good.
But is it you who plays the piano, or your daughter?
Well, that's my dream. I bought that piano with the money from my first proper job, because it was a dream I had when I was a young growing up, and I never learned the piano. So I bought that piano and I started lessons, but I think I was about 27, 28, and I'm not very good. And but it's traveled with me all around the world. It will probably go in my grave. I might convert it into a coffin, and then it will have its final use for me. But it's lovely. It's nice. It is nice to be able to try to play, but I'm not very good. But it's something that I keep at. Keep at it.
Don't give up. Don't give up like me.
I won't give up.
We've got two words that are very similar next: gig and concert. Now, concert, you probably know. Gig is very similar. The difference is gig tends to be more informal. So you might go to a classical music concert, but a jazz gig or a rock gig. So do you agree with that definition, Lynne? They're similar words, but gig is more informal.
Gig is more for sort of like a gig. You wouldn't say classical musicians do a gig.
No.
They tend to give a concert. A gig is more for like rock musicians, pop singers, those kind of things.
But you can also go to a rock concert or a pop concert. It's just that gig tends to be, and also gig tends to be used more by musicians. If you are in a band or a group and you're playing in a local bar or pub, you're more likely to use the word gig. Say, oh, I've got a gig on Saturday. I'm playing in this bar. I've got a gig.
I think, can I change the topic now and just tell them, because it's a common word now. It's a new word. They talk about the gig economy. Have you heard about the gig economy? And that's
I've heard
very
about it.
new.
I'm not sure what it is. But
well, the gig economy is because the idea from music here with a gig is that it's sort of like something a little bit impromptu, that you haven't made a lot of preparations for it, and you just get up there and you play your music and everybody's enjoying it. It's not like a big theatrical production. It's a gig. And I think that's where the musical gig came from. And they use that word now to describe the gig economy. And the gig economy is the economy where people don't have really proper contracts with their jobs. They have 0-hour contracts. So they work in very sometimes precarious employment conditions. So they might work one day and then not have any more work for a month. It's a very flexible working agreement, the gig economy, and it's becoming very, very popular, of course. In Britain, it's usually in all the newspapers because there are people who are for it and there are people who are against it.
So it's like freelance.
Sorry, but I changed the topic there.
No, it's fine. That's interesting. I wasn't sure exactly what it meant, but now I know. See, everybody's learning. It's a good thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Finally, we've got to play live. Now, be careful of the pronunciation, because when you see that word L-I-V-E, you might say live. So live, the verb, but live, the adjective, is in directo. So you play live, or you go to a live concert, a live gig. You see a group live music. Okay. Hema said she would have liked to play the violin. That's a lovely instrument. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's a lovely instrument when somebody can play it. But I remember a friend of mine had 3 daughters, and they all started to play and learn the violin. And it's horrendous when you can't play the violin to listen to the violin being practiced.
That's why you need to rehearse.
That's true, but preferably somewhere else. But when you hear violin not being played very well, it's a horrible instrument,
So rehearse is ensayar in Spanish, if you speak Spanish, and the noun is rehearsal. So that's a word that some Spanish students don't know, because you might know the word to practice. You practice the violin, you practice the piano, but to practice for a reason is to rehearse. So you rehearse a music score, you rehearse a play, you rehearse a speech or a presentation. You practice it because you're going to perform it.
Always. And then we have the word a cover version. And a cover version is a song or a piece of music that is being played, but not by the original singer who actually wrote the song or played the song originally. So, for example, you all know the Beatles. The Beatles have many, many famous songs, and there have been many cover versions made of those songs. So this is other famous singers who have brought out their version singing a very famous song that was originally sung by the Beatles. So that's called a cover version.
Yep. And we don't use the word record very much these days, and the younger people here won't remember records, the round vinyl records that you put on a record player. These days we speak about tracks, which are pistas or songs. So when you write and create a song or a track and then it goes out to the world, then you release a record, you release a song, you release a song, or you release a track or an album.
But we still say albums, don't we?
We still say albums.
An album before, when we had records used to be small ones with a single song, and the larger ones with several songs used to be called albums. But we still use the word album, don't we, to release an album. An album is a collection of songs.
Yeah. And sometimes there's some confusion with recording. When you record your voice or you record a track, then it becomes a recording. So sometimes people send us at the podcast recordings, voice recordings, and they're not sure of the term. So it's a recording.
A recording. And there's a pronunciation thing you should look out for there. So the verb is to record, and it's a recording. But the physical thing is a record. So the stress changes as well on that word. All right. So when it's a noun, it's a record. But when it's a verb, record. And if it's like recording is also a noun, but it's from the verb recording, like a kind of gerund. Yeah.
Okay, we've got a quiz now, I believe.
Oh, have we?
So we've got a quiz.
We have a quiz.
An idioms quiz. I'm just trying to find the right banner. So we're going to show you an idiom connected to music, and you need to tell us what it means. For example, to face the music. Does it mean A, to be punished, B, when a songwriter is famous, or C, to finally confront a difficult situation? If you face the music, what does it mean?
And it can be more than one of these things, yeah? So there's not just one correct answer. It could be one or several, right? Can it mean all of those things, or which ones does to face the music mean? I'm saying C because I'm reading that Rafa said C, Christine said C, and Luther said C as well. Franco, said C as well. So are they right, Craig?
They are. To confront a difficult situation, to face the music. Yeah. Exactly.
But it can also mean, don't you think it can also mean to be punished? He faced the music.
Yes, if you do something wrong and you admit to it and you know you're going to be punished, then you face the music. You admit to doing something wrong.
Yeah. So it can be A and C, to face the music. Good.
Well done.
Well done. And the next one, right? This is here's a nice phrase, to make a song and dance out of something. Does this mean A, to be very creative, B, to make an unnecessary fuss, or C, to constantly be singing? What do you think? To make a song and dance out of something. So I say, Craig, don't make a song and dance out of it.
You're always making a song and dance out of it. Why are you doing that?
You are. You're always making a song and dance out of everything.
I can't sing. Not guilty.
There you are. Everybody, I think everybody got that just from our tone of voice. Yeah. B. Oh, well, no, Felipe thought A. No, to make a song and dance out of it, something actually means to make an unnecessary fuss. So it means when somebody's being very, very fussy and, oh, don't do it like this and do it like this. And why don't we, then you say, no, stop making a song and dance out of it. It's really simple. Just do this.
And if you're fussy, I think fussy in Spanish is o ser muy especial, like you like things a particular way and you don't like things out of their place, or you don't like an untidy room. You're very fussy with your food. Etc.
Pedantic is another word. Pedantic, when you're very pedantic.
Exactly.
Then you're making a song and dance out of something. You're making a huge... Another nice phrase for that is to make a mountain out of a molehill is another one.
Yeah.
But we'll stick with make a song and dance because that's music today. That's our theme.
The next one is it's music to my ears, which sounds quite logical, but does it mean I like it? I hear songs all the time, like Lynne, or I like wearing headphones, like me. So what does that mean? A, B, or C? It's music to my ears. So we'll give you some time to answer. Rafa's gone for A.
Hematu for A. Heavy too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Esther, yeah, you've got that one. Well done.
You got that one. I like it. It's music to my ears. That means I really like it. Yeah. Okay. It's music to my ears. Go on. Have we got another one or is that it?
Another one.
No. Another one. To call the tune or to call the tunes. So if somebody calls the tunes, does this mean A, they give names to songs, B, they are the lead singer in a choir, or C, they decide what happens? To call the tune. If you say, I'm going to, he's calling the tunes. He's calling the tunes. Rafa, Esther, Hema, they all think C. Anybody else? I think that's it. You're right, though. Well done. Yeah. It means to decide what happens. So you are dictating what everybody should do. You're calling the tune. Who calls the tune in your house? Great.
Who do you think? Who wears the trousers? My wife, of course.
Your wife, she calls the tunes. Yeah. Well, I call the tune in my house too.
Good for you. That's music to my ears, Lynne.
Is that music to your ears? Great.
we have two more, I think. So to play by ear or to play it by ear is, what does that mean? To play something by ear, to play music without a score, to play a game blindfolded when your eyes are covered, or to act without a plan depending on the circumstances that arise. To play something by ear. Oh, we'll play it by ear to see what happens. Does that mean A, B, or C? See if you can get this one.
As people are answering. With our previous one, Call the Tune, people are asking, is it the same as Call the Shots? And it is. Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, that's good, Eduardo. To call the shots is,
Yeah. Oops.
I've lost my banner.
You've lost the question now. I shouldn't have told you to do that. Right, there we are, to play it by ear. And there's a bit of disagreement, but in actual fact, no, there's not disagreement. The thing is, you're both right. It's A and C. So you can play the piano by ear, which means you play without music, without a score.
That's not hitting it with your ear,
it's not hitting it with your ear, no. But you play it by sound. So you imitate the sound, and you're able to interpret it directly on the keys. So it can be A, and it also is C, to act without a plan, depending on the circumstances. So usually at the end of our class, we don't decide, do we, straight away what we're going to do in our class in 2 weeks' time. We usually let the week go by, we play it by ear, and then one of us will have an inspiration or sometimes some of my friends or my daughters or my students will say, why don't you do a class on? And then I contact Craig and then we decide to do the class. So we often play things by ear. Is that right?
Yeah, we do, yeah. A similar expression would be off the cuff. You can say you can do something off the cuff without a plan. Yeah, on the spur of the moment as well.
That's right.
We've got one more that I added, Lynn. I don't think you've seen this one. To end on a high note.
Oh, so I have to check. I might get it wrong.
So what does that mean? Because we spoke about musical notes, the notes in music. Does that mean to finish something in a positive way, in a good way, or B, to finish something in a negative way, or C, to have unrealistic and unreachable goals? To end on a high note. A, B, or C? Let's see what you
tricky
think.
From your you did a very good multiple choice there. I guess you could think high is positive, but you could think like if it was a high note, it would be which is like negative. Not easy, is it?
Yeah. So we're getting some answers in. Rafa thinks A, Christine A, Felipe A. Yep, absolutely. Right. Congratulations.
Well done.
It's very positive. It means to finish something well in a positive way. And we hope we're going to do that today when we finish. How are we doing for time? 15
well,
minutes.
I'm not sure because it seems that all of our questions, everybody knew it already. So we're probably preaching to the choir here.
Well, we've got some more. These are not multiple choice.
Can we end on a high note? We haven't taught you anything yet.
we've got some other musical idioms that we're just going to show you. Do you know these? To jazz something up.
Jazz something up.
Yeah, if my room is looking a bit boring, if I jazz it up with pictures, with something on the wall, with pretty furniture, then I make it more attractive. So to jazz something up, if you think of jazz music, it means to make something more attractive.
And you can say it as well for clothes. You know, I often say it about clothes. Maybe you have like a plain T-shirt and you think, I like this T-shirt, but I need to jazz it up a little bit. So you add a scarf or you add a piece of jewelry. I don't think you do that as much as I do.
No, not quite as much, Lynn. No.
but Craig was trying to jazz up our live stream today because he had been experimenting all week about trying to put some sound effects in to the live stream. But it's all right. It's a work in progress, isn't it? A work in progress.
Yeah. Now, Gemma said before that she'd always wanted to learn to play the violin. Well, another word for a violin is a fiddle. I don't know if it's exactly the same. Are there any musicians in the audience, or do you know, Lynn, if a fiddle is exactly the same as a violin? Maybe it's smaller.
Sure. It might be smaller. Sure. Fiddles are often played by Irish musicians, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if the people who play Mozart play on the same instrument or not. I don't know.
But what does it mean to play second fiddle? Does that mean in the orchestra you're not the main fiddle, you're a violin, you're the second violin? Is that what it means? To play second? Are you
asking me or are you asking them?
I'm asking anyone to play second fiddle.
Well, I think what you've described, Craig, is definitely the origin of the idiom, because it comes from an orchestra, and in an orchestra there are several violins, and there's the lead violin, and then there are secondary violins. Yeah, so the lead violin might play the beginning of the piece, and then the other violins come in to accompany it. So to play second fiddle possibly comes from that metaphor. Yeah. But Eduardo's got it then, and you've got it completely right. It means to play a secondary role. So if there are two people who are leading a group, but one of them is more dominant and the other one is playing second fiddle.
Or imagine you work for a company and you're doing very good, productive work, but your boss always gets the recognition. So he claims that it's his work, but really it's you. You could say, oh, I'm always playing second fiddle to my boss. I'm doing the work, but he's getting all the credit.
The
So
recognition.
you're subordinate to him, and you're not getting recognition. You're playing second fiddle. You're in second place, basically.
And sometimes that happens with married couples as well. Sometimes one of the partners with couples, one of the partner is always playing second fiddle. Yeah, that can happen too.
If you're not calling the tunes.
If you're not calling the tunes, well done.
Now blow your own trumpet.
Trumpet is an instrument. How do you describe a trumpet? It's the golden one that people play like this and goes.
Louis Armstrong.
Miles
Davis.
Oh,
Miles Davis played the trumpet.
That's right. So, and to blow your own trumpet. Does anybody know what that means? To blow your own trumpet?
I'm the greatest singer you've ever heard. I sing all over the world, and I'm absolutely fantastic, and everybody loves to sing, loves to listen to me singing. I'm blowing my own trumpet. I'm boasting. I'm telling you how good I am, and I'm the opposite of modest. So I'm telling you how good I am.
Christine got it. She said, being boastful. So when you tell everybody how fantastic you are, and you're not very modest or humble about it, but you tell everybody, then you are blowing your own trumpet. Okay.
Another one?
To change your tune. And I say, I like that one. To change your tune. I say, Craig, you're changing your tune now, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't think the same way that I did last week. I've changed my opinion. I'm not behaving in the same way or saying the same things. I've changed my mind.
Yeah. Or for example, here's another example of that one. Maybe one of my kids wants to do something that I don't agree with. Yeah. But they're 21, so they can do what they like now, and they go and do it. And then I say, but you'll see next week when this and this happens, you'll soon change your tune. And then usually, because mothers are always right, they come back and they do. Because I'm always right.
And you're blowing your own trumpet now, Lynne.
I'm blowing my own trumpet. I am. But it's now, true. Mothers usually are right about everything.
Yeah. My mother was. You said the expression earlier on, Lynne, to the gig economy. Speaking about the gig economy. Now, I didn't know exactly what that meant, but it rang a bell. So if something rings a bell, it's familiar. If you speak about someone, I don't know exactly who that is, but his face rings a bell. If you see someone and you think you know who that person is, you can say their face rings a bell, or something to suena, something reminds you of something.
It triggers a memory, if you like. When you hear a sound of a bell, it rings a bell. Resonates. Any more?
How clean's your house at the moment, Lynne?
My house.
Yeah. Is it clean?
As a whistle, absolutely. My house is always clean as a whistle. Well, not always, but at the moment it is quite clean as a whistle. So clean as a whistle, I have no idea where that comes from. The whistle, of course, remember the verb we had before, which the thing I can't do, thank you, to whistle. And of course, if you think of a referee in football or a policeman, they have whistles as well. But their whistles are like very shiny, aren't they? They're like very silver and shiny. And so maybe that's where this comes from. As clean as a whistle. And it means spotless. Christine's come up with some lovely words there. Spotless. Immaculate. Impolute. No, Christine. I've never heard that one. No. That one, no. But spotless or immaculate, definitely. Immaculate, I like that one. Very clean.
Okay, well, that's all we have for you. But we do have a final test, don't we? A four-word quiz. So we're going to leave you. We're going to leave you with a four-word quiz.
This is to see if you actually have been listening to us.
Yes. If you've been
Right.
paying attention.
If you've been paying attention. So, it's like this. We've written a script. I just have to find the script. So Craig is going to say something. So we're going to give you a situation where there will be 4 words that you have to complete our sentence with. And these are idioms from music. And it's something that we've done already. So we've explained it. So are you ready? Are you ready to?
Yes. So I'm starting, aren't I?
Yes, you're starting with this wonderful little dialogue that we prepared.
There's no score. There's no music score. So I'm just going to start. Lynn, what are we going to talk about next time?
I don't know, Craig. We have to find the perfect topic. You know, something that everyone likes. Something that And do you know, I don't think we taught them that, Craig. I don't think you had it on a banner.
No?
No. It's
going to be quite difficult then, isn't it?
It is, but you pay attention, everybody. Everybody pay attention. We'll repeat that for you. All right.
Lynn, what are we going to talk about next time?
I don't know, Craig. We have to find the perfect topic. You know, something that everyone likes. Something that
I agree, but I'm too tired now to think. We still have 2 weeks. Let's just
Felipe's got it. He said, is it
Very good, Felipe. I like it.
Well, I think this was a bit of a disaster. We won't try this again with you.
Yeah.
Right. Let's say it again, Craig. But we'll say the proper words. It does help if we taught them first.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah, that's. Anyway, I'll put the expression also in.
Say it again. What are we going to?
What are we going to talk about next time, Lynn?
I don't know, Craig. We have to find the perfect topic. You know, something that everyone likes, something that strikes the right note. Now that one, we apologize because we didn't teach you that, but we wanted to teach you it. I don't know what happened there, but we forgot to put it up. So but to strike the right note. The second one we did.
So I agree, but I'm too tired now to think. We still have 2 weeks. Let's just play it by ear.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just see how we go.
Ear. Let's leave it. Let's not plan too much. Let's play it by ear. Mm-hmm.
Play it by ear.
Okay.
So that was a bit of a disaster. But anyway, I think you got the idea. Shall we quickly review the vocabulary before we say goodbye? So
it could be worse. We could try to sing you out of this class, but we won't.
You see, that's what happens when you play things by ear. It's not a good idea. Anyway, we spoke about choir. Be careful of the pronunciation. Tune, to whistle, which is what Lynne can't do, which is to hum, and rhythm, el ritmo. Lynne?
You can tap your feet. I also can't click my fingers, but Craig can. You can sing in tune and you can sing out of tune.
And I definitely sing out of tune. The lyrics are the words that go with a song. The score is the musical accompaniment. So you write a book, as Lynne said, but when you write music, it becomes a score. Soundtrack, banda sonora, if you speak Spanish, it's the music usually in a film. And the sound effects, los efectos de sonido.
Mm-hmm. That you have in a minute. You can play an instrument. We don't touch instruments. We play instruments. And if you're a musician, then you can give a concert, or more informal, you can do a gig. And you can play live. Remember, the pronunciation is live, not live. Live is the verb. to live. I live in Valencia, but live means not recorded, like you're playing, really playing in real time.
To rehearse is to practice for a concert or a gig, for example, and the noun is rehearsal. Be careful of the pronunciation of that vowel sound, rehearse. And a cover version is where you do another interpretation of an original song. So Lynne's example, I think, was a cover version of a Beatles song by a different artist. And you release a track when you publish it to the world. You release a song, you release an album.
And then we had these idioms. You face the music. That means when you are punished or when you finally confront a difficult situation. So we'll have to face the music, Craig, I think, when we think about this class, because we forgot to teach something.
We need to, but I don't think we should make a song and dance over it, because, you know, it's in the past and we shouldn't make a song and dance, which means make an unnecessary fuss.
That's music to my ears, Craig, because I really don't want to work much harder than I already do.
You work hard enough. The person who calls the tune or calls the tunes decides what happens. So, as we already have learned, Lynne calls the tune in her household.
And to play it by ear is to act without a plan. And you just let things go and you decide as things are going. You are playing it by ear. But of course, if you're a musician, it can also mean that you don't need the written music to be able to play a piece of music, which is a wonderful gift if you are that clever and that talented.
And the last one, hopefully we've ended on a high note before we say goodbye.
Have we redeemed ourselves? I hope so.
Redeemed ourselves. Thank you very much for watching. Before we go, we'll remind you how you can contact us. So if you'd like to reach me, you can reach me through the website mentioningles.com or through the podcast inglespodcast.com. And at both these places, you can find material to improve your English. Lynne?
And with me, my website is putitlikethis.com, and you can contact me over the website if you're interested in any kind of online classes or tailor-made classes. Okay,
Eduardo says your live is always music to my ears. Yes, thank you, Eduardo. That's fantastic. Thank you very much for watching. It's been a lot of fun. Lynne will be back in 2 weeks. Monica will be with me next Wednesday, hopefully. So until next time, thanks for watching. Stay safe and we'll see you soon.
And keep listening to the music. No, it makes you happy.
And maybe next time we'll have some music if I can get the technology right. So we'll see. We'll try.
Let's hope so. Okay, bye-bye, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us. Bye-bye.